The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Right now, as we speak, a silent war is being fought, not just with guns, but with gold and dignity. While the world was looking at the headlines of instability, something historic was happening behind the closed doors of the Burkina Faso Legislative Assembly. A line was drawn in the sand. A superpower was told no. And 94 tons of gold just changed the balance of power in Africa forever. Tonight we reveal the hidden specifics of the U.S. standoff, the secret legislative rejection, and how the land of upright men just broke the chains of the old world. In late 2025, the U.S. government approached the Sahel with a proposal. They call it cooperation. They call it strategic migration management. But the Burkina leadership saw it for what it truly was, a violation of dignity. The U.S. wanted Burkina Faso to become a dumping ground for deportees, not just Burkina-based nationals that the West no longer wanted. They offered money. They offered security assistance. But Foreign Minister Karimako Jean-Marie Traoré stood before the nation on RTB and used one word that sent shockwaves through Washington: indecent. The hidden specifics. The U.S. expected Burkina Faso to buckle under the weight of sanctions. Instead, the Legislative Assembly sat down and did the unthinkable. They didn't just reject the deportees deal, they authorized the government to apply strict reciprocity. If a Burkinabe citizen can just get a visa easily, neither can an American. The empire tried to use visas as a weapon, moving services to Togo to punish the people, but the people didn't break. How does a small nation say no to the world's largest economy? You do it by owning your own house. For decades, French and Western companies owned the soil of Burkina Faso. We were the fourth largest producers in Africa. Your people were the poorest. That era ended this month. The report the West ignored. While the mainstream media was focused on the junta rhetoric, the Ministry of Mines was quietly nationalizing the industry. In 2025, Burkina Faso hit a record 94 tons of gold. 42 of those tons came from the artisanal miners, the common men who are now organized into state-protected cooperative. Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't just ask for a fair share. He took back 5 major mines from foreign-linked firms. Now, the gold isn't flying to Paris or New York. In the middle of the night, it's staying in Ouagadougou to fund the war against terrorism and the school for our children. Let's talk about what happened in the assembly that the Western press won't tell you. The suspense was thick. The U.S. diplomats thought they had friends in the parliament who would flip. They were wrong. The assembly made to finally dissolve the old political structures that were being funded by NGOs. They realized that as long as foreign money controlled the parties, foreign interests will control the gold. By rejecting the U.S. man come back into the Sahel, the legislative sent a strong message. The AES, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso is a fortress. You cannot divide us with aid anymore. When the U.S. suspended visas, they didn't beg, they pivoted. They signed nuclear deals with Russia. They built refineries over stability that felt like slavery. Our leaders in the Sahel are not ready to allow these people. They always come in the guise of trying to help the African. This is how best they have controlled the African. Like those in the democratic elected who still believe these ones. But our leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso see them for who they are. This isn't about gold bars or visa papers. This is about the soul of Africa. For 60 years, we were told we couldn't survive without them. We were told our gold was so complex for us to mine. We were told we needed their supervision. Look at Captain Ibrahim Traore. Look at the Legislative Assembly. They are proving when you stand on your own 2 feet. The world has no choice but to respect you. They called U.S. proposal an insult to human dignity. Can you imagine? A nation they called undeveloped teaching the developed world about dignity? The suspense is over. The secret is out. But Burkina Faso is no longer a project for the West. It is a power. We are witnessing the refunding of a nation. 94 tons of gold is just the beginning. The rejection of the U.S. demands is just the first step. What do you think? Is this the blueprint for the rest of Africa? Let me know in the comment section. And a special thank you once again to at Radical TV Market for the incredible support on the super thanks. You help us keep this independent narrative alive. The latest, we see you, we hear you, and we are just getting started. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso just open up everything to us. Cooperation for what? In order for them to continue to have their influence in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The United States of America came in the guise of trying to help these our leaders by demanding that they accept democracy, giving them terms and conditions. But this is not the Africa they used to know. Fortunately, our all in all turned this offer down. They are there to help us with security, for us to continue to have their system running so they can continue to exploit the African. Like always I tell you, the moment you move out of that system, they lose control. They are not able to do anything. They use that system in order to get you do their bid. So until the African is able to move out of this trap called democracy, we can never own the narrative. And the time of becoming slaves is over. This is the time for you, the African, to start seeing yourself as the master. Because we are masters of our own. Look at the lies they told us. We can never do this without their supervision. Everything in Africa is too complex. They have the know-how. But Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso leaders have given the blueprint to all African leaders that we don't need these people to be able to do anything. They need us. And we have to own our narrative and stop allowing ourselves to be treated like slaves. Look at the way they try to come into Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Constitutional rule. Why do we have to allow ourselves to be using the same system given to us by our oppressors? That shows that we are still not sovereign people, because if we are, we should decide the kind of leadership we think is best for us. We haven't gone any far because of the system that these people gave to us. NGOs fund our political parties, and whenever they come, they serve the interests of the funders and not the people they claim they are leading. And that is why today we see Africa to be where it is. And I always tell you, Julius Maada Bio open up the secret that they protect borders instead of protecting the people. Because the people no longer matter as long as the funders are the players in your party and in your victory and in your government. So you always have to do their bid. And that is why they are not happy and calling for the return of these political parties. Because this is how best they are able to divide the African. But our leaders in AES are making us happy. They are making us proud. They are making us reclaim our sovereignty. And that we give credit to them. I will continue to fight for our total liberation. And it's amazing how a superpower, economic giant, has been turned down by a nation or nations, the ones called poor and developed. Now we are telling them it's all about dignity and power. And we are not teaching the same people who claim they know morals. They're teaching the African morals. Africa, it is we that have allowed ourselves. And that is why we are where we are. And now we need to rewrite the story and rewrite the script and prove to the world how powerful we are. The same people who are always trying to be bossy over us now coming to beg. Without them, we have fought those insecurities, the destabilization. They proved to them that the African is capable. And now they are back, telling us they want to help us fight what we are fighting best. Because they try to do away with the Russian corps. They can never move us away from our true friends. Now we know who is a friend of the African. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.